This video shows you how to divide decimals with a remainder. One of the ways that you need to be familiar with this is with a number disk chart. And the way that looks is like this. We have our place value chart that's been modified a little bit. So instead of putting numbers on it, we have our disks. I'm not going to ask you to do this often, but you need to know what it looks like. Okay? So we have 6 and 72 hundredths divided by 3. So I have 6 disks in the ones place, 7 in the tenths place, and 2 in the hundredths place. And down below, I've noted in a different color, I have 3 different rows. That's because I'm dividing it by 3. And then what I'm going to do is split up the top into the other sections. For example, in the ones, I have 2 in each section for 3. And then what I'll do is I'll draw 2 in each section. Note that if you add up everything here, it still adds to 6. And I'm going to go through and do that with the tens. And I see that I have 2 more, but I have 1 remaining. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and put those 2 in each section. Okay, but then what I need to do is take this one here and move it over to the hundredths, where I'm going to have 10 hundredths. So with my 10 new hundredths and my 2 previous hundredths, I now have 12 hundredths, which I can break down between 3. So there are 4 in each. Okay, and then I'll draw my 4 down below. The idea with this is that we're looking at how we break down the numbers when we can't evenly divide something. Think of it as having a $10 bill and you need to pay for something. How are you going to get that change? Okay. After we look at this, we see that our solution for 6 and 72 hundredths divided by 3 is 2 ones, 2 tenths, and 4 hundredths, which is 2 and 24 hundredths. We're not going to be using this all the time. Most often, I prefer that we are using the standard algorithm, but again, I want you to understand how this works. Using what you already know about the standard algorithm, try to solve this problem on your own. 5 and 16 hundredths divided by 4. Here's what it looks like when I solved it. The first thing that I did is I wrote out the division table that I'm going to be using. Okay? The second thing that I did is I moved the decimal up right away. I want to make sure that I do that so we don't confuse it or put it in the incorrect place later on. Remember that we can also estimate later to approximately see where we're going to put it. Okay? 4 goes into 5 ones once, and I subtract those 4, which gives me 1. 1. Okay, and then I will carry down my 1/10, so now I have 11 tenths. Okay, 4 goes into 11 tenths 2 times, which gives us 8 tenths to subtract away, so we bring down the 3 tenths, we bring down our 6 hundredths, so now instead of just 3 tenths, we have 36 hundredths. 4 goes into 36 hundredths 9 times, and that it gives you 36 hundredths. So we take away 36 hundredths from 36 hundredths, giving us 0. So we have 1 and 29 hundredths for every group of 4. What about problems that have zeros in them? Students frequently find this to be confusing. So we're going to walk through one and then I'll have you try one on your own. First thing that I did, just like last time, is I set up my division problem, and then I'm going to bring up my decimal right away. And notice that I didn't put it on the line, but I made it large enough that it is obvious to see. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, 8 into 2 tens. Okay, and I'm skipping straight to this. I would have a 0 here initially. Okay, but I do know 8 goes into 20 twice, which gives you 16, with 4 ones left over. And then we will bring down our 0 tens for a total of 40 tens. Okay? 8 goes into 40 tenths 5 times. And 40 minus 40 tenths is 0. Now, a lot of people will stop here, but don't forget that we still have this 8 that needs to be brought down. So don't ignore the 8 hundredths. Okay? 8 goes into 8 hundredths once. So you have 8 hundredths still, and 8 hundredths minus 8 hundredths is 0 hundredths. So we see that our solution is 2 and 51 hundredths. Use that same process to solve this problem. Pay close attention to where you might put a 0 if something doesn't work. We have 6 and 372 thousandths divided by 6. When I solve this problem, first thing I do is set it up and then bring up the decimal and do it right away. Okay, 6 goes into 6 once, so I take away my 6. And here's where some people are going to be confused. When we bring down this 3, we see that we have 3/10. 6 does not go into 3/10, so we can't just be done. We need to put the 0 here, and then we can bring down the 7/100ths. So 6 into 37/100ths. And 6 goes into 37/100ths 6 times for 36/100ths. And 37/100ths minus 36/100ths is 1/100th. Bring down your 2 thousandths. 6 goes into 12 thousandths, our new number, twice. And 12 thousandths minus 12 thousandths is 0. So our solution, or quotient for our division problem, is 1 and 62 thousandths.